than I was.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
pretty good.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Tim, I don't know if you can turn up your mic a little bit, or you might just have to, be more, loud.
Tried turning up my audio. This is as loud as it goes. How am I now?
You're here.
I can
We
hear
can
you.
hear you.
I'm going to move down closer to him. I'm sitting at the other end of the table. I'll just scoot down towards him, and I'll be able to hear a little better.
Okay, great. I appreciate you working with all these technological components here. One day we're going to be back in person.
Hopefully.
Can't happen soon enough.
All right, so we're on the record.
Yes.
Okay. We're here in the case of Randazzo versus Isaac Fisher. It's pending in the Northern District of Georgia. It's case number 120 CV 1917. This is the deposition of Isaac Fisher taken pursuant to subpoena and by agreement of counsel for all purposes under the federal civil rules. My name is Samantha Funt, and along with Zach Greenemeyer, I represent the plaintiff in this case, and it's Detective Fisher.
Sergeant Fisher.
Sergeant Fisher. And can we swear the witness?
Let me unmute. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
And Kevin, can we agree that all objections except a privilege are preserved by a forum objection?
Yeah, responsiveness.
Absolutely, would be preserved by a forum objection.
Yeah, objections except for form and responsiveness and privilege. Yes, I agree.
Thank you. Sergeant, you are appearing today pursuant to notice.
Yes.
What have you reviewed in order to prepare for your deposition?
Where or what?
What have you reviewed in order to prepare for this deposition, if anything?
I just went over the case file when I first got the subpoenas.
Okay, and the way that I received the case file is in multiple different components. When you say case file, are you referring to the solicitor's file or your personal file, or can you identify that a little bit more?
The case file that I submitted.
All right, and do you know how that was categorized when it was produced to us in discovery? Was that the Henry County Police Department file, or was that the solicitor's file?
I don't have anything referenced the solicitor's file at all. Okay,
so your file, to your knowledge, through your investigation at the Henry County Police Department, is that right?
Correct.
Okay. Other than with your lawyer, have you discussed this case with anyone else?
No, just spoken about it when I received it from it came down from the chief of police down and then to Kevin, that's it.
And did you speak with the chief of police about it when it came down?
No, only that Kevin would be giving me a call.
Okay. And no other police officers? You didn't discuss this with any of your police officers?
No.
And you live in the Ingalls Landing Country Club in Stockbridge, right?
Yes.
And do you have any, this is for purposes of picking a jury in this case, do you have any family within a 90-minute drive in Georgia, including spouse, adult, children, cousins, parents, sibling, from where you live in Stockbridge?
Yes.
And who would those be and where do they live?
Father, who lives in Stockbridge, sister lives in Clayton County, and another sister in, I believe that she moved to Duluth.
I assume, have you ever given a deposition before?
Never.
You said never?
Never.
Oh, wow. So I'm sure your attorney has explained a couple of things about how this will work, but just a couple of ground rules. We can go back to any question that I ask you at any point. If you remember something that you'd like to add, just let me know at any point in the deposition. The only major thing is that we need to speak one at a time. As you noticed during the last deposition, it can be difficult for the court reporter to transcribe things otherwise. I'm happy to take a break. I don't anticipate going too long today, but during any break that we take, do you agree that you will not discuss your testimony with anyone?
Yes.
If you need clarification about anything I'm asking you, if something sounded weird, you don't understand it, will you just let me know and I will clarify or ask a better question for you?
I will.
Okay. And is it fair for me to assume that if you answer my question that you understood it?
Yes.
Today, we're appearing on electronically via Zoom for this deposition. Will you agree not to send or receive any messages to anyone electronically or otherwise during the course of your testimony today?
Yes.
Great. Your lawyer might object to the form of the questions that I might ask. Unless he instructs you not to respond, you can just go ahead after his objection and answer the question. Make sense?
Makes sense.
Also, if I'm talking to you about any particular issue in this case that you feel you need to reference a document that I'm not showing you at the time, just let me know and I can try to pull that up for you for better clarification.
Okay.
Have you ever been a party to a legal proceeding before this?
No.
And I'm just going to ask you a couple things and understand whether or not you agree. So, do you agree that in filling out incident reports as part of your work with the Henry County Police Department, that it's important for you and for all law enforcement officers to be accurate when they're describing events?
To the best of at the time when something occurs, yes, some things may be left out unintentionally, but yes, things should be put in the report.
Right. And it's important to be accurate as you're describing events in a police report. Is that right?
Yes.
Would you also agree that in filling out an incident report, it's important to be complete and not leave out significant details?
Should be. But like I said, there's times when reports are submitted that things unintentionally are left out, not purposely.
Right. But you agree that it's important to be as complete as you can and as thorough as you can in filling out an incident report?
Yes.
Would you also agree that it's important to be honest in completing an incident report and not to lie?
Yes.
And you'd agree with me that warrants for a person's arrest must be accurate, complete, and honest, right?
Yes.
You'd also agree that, or would you agree that the reports created and the warrant in this case was accurate, complete, and honest?
Yes, it was honest.
And would you also agree that it was accurate and complete?
Yes.
Do you agree that the Fourth Amendment protects citizens from arrests without probable cause?
Yes.
And do you agree that in drafting a warrant affidavit, it must include all facts that are material to a probable cause finding?
I will answer that in two parts. Yes, and there's only enough room given back in the time for that much information to be on there.
Are you saying that there's a limitation in the narrative section of the actual warrant affidavit that prevents you from including information?
They wanted to be as brief as possible because it wasn't enough room. If I recall, because I haven't written one in a long time, to put like a whole scenario into the warrant. Basically, the judges would want you to be brief.
Would you agree that if there's a material fact to a probable cause finding, that should be included in the warrant affidavit?
Yes.
Do you agree that you cannot knowingly or recklessly include incorrect inculpatory facts in a warrant affidavit?
Yes.
Do you agree that you cannot knowingly or recklessly omit exculpatory facts from a warrant affidavit?
Yes.
Do you agree that an officer who should have known that their warrant application failed to establish probable cause violates the Fourth Amendment?
Now, if a warrant is written, there's probable cause.
I'm sorry, can you repeat your response?
Could you repeat the question?
Sure. Would you agree that an officer who should have known that their warrant application failed to establish probable cause violates the Fourth Amendment?
So yes,
And would you agree that an officer may not unreasonably disregard certain pieces of evidence by choosing to ignore information that's been offered to him or electing not to obtain easily discoverable facts that might tend to exculpate someone?
yes,
Would you agree that when a police officer makes an arrest without heeding certain easily obtained information, the officer fails to act reasonably?
if the information is given to him, yes, or not.
But if what I'm talking about is when, information could be easily obtained. So when a police officer makes an arrest without getting a piece of information that they can easily get to, does that officer fail to act reasonably?
Yes,
Would you also agree that an officer must articulate the basis for their belief that a subject committed an alleged crime?
yes,
And would you agree that officers cannot jump to unreasonable conclusions?
yes,
Do you agree that law enforcement officers that arrest individuals for no good reason at all should be held accountable for their actions?
for no good reason, yes,
Do you agree that being held accountable for wrongful conduct includes paying for all damages caused by the wrongful conduct and everything that happens as a result?
yes,
Can you just confirm that there was no discipline or adverse action taken against you for your actions in this case?
there was not.
Do you agree that you were always acting within the scope of your employment as a law enforcement officer with the Henry County Police Department during the events that led to the arrest of Mr. Randazzo?
Yes,
Has anyone ever said that you violated policy or procedure based on your actions that were taken in this case?
no,
If there is a settlement or verdict, is it your understanding that that would be paid by the city?
I don't know if it's going to be paid by the city or the county. We're a county police department.
Okay, so is it your understanding that if there's a settlement or verdict in this lawsuit, that it would be paid by either the county or the city?
Yes, yes,
And it's your understanding that it would likely be paid by the county?
yes,
Samantha, these cases are always represented, and I think it's the case here, under a reservation of rights.
Sure, thanks.
And I don't know what the status of an indemnification provision is.
I don't intend to ask him about that right now,
Okay.
especially if you don't know. But, Sergeant, looking back at the investigation that you undertook and your actions that led to the warrant and arrest of Corin Randazzo, would you do anything differently?
Check the form. You answered it.
okay. Probably, you gotta understand, it's 2018. And back then we were given maybe 3, 4, 5 cases a day on top of the ones we're working.
Mhm.
So maybe one case took more time than another. Probably would have added a couple of things in there, a few more things in there. I.e. what I observed when I went to the victim's office. I don't believe I put that in there, but I would have probably put that in there as well.
Okay, and when you say, that you would have added a couple of things here and there, well, let's get to that one moment. Were you a sergeant at the time of this case?
No, I was a detective.
And have you held any other positions at the police department other than sergeant and previously detective?
No.
Okay. And how long have you been working for Henry County Police Department?
This is be the 6th year.
Okay. And so you said back at the time when you were working this case, you were somewhat overloaded in the amount of cases that they were giving you at one time. Is that right?
I won't say overloaded. The cases never stopped coming. So you had to pretty much prioritize crimes against victims, crimes against property, things like that, crimes against children. Those cases push other cases back. So a couple of days may go by before you work a case, and
Absolutely.
you have to pick back up on it. So
That makes perfect sense. And a case like this probably did not get top priority, right?
I wouldn't say that. It just flowed in with the rest of the case files.
Okay, but this wasn't, one of your higher priority cases in the ranking, right?
I would say yes, because or no to that. It wasn't because of the cases that I had worked back then.
Okay. So you said that, in response to my question about whether you would have done anything differently, you said you probably could have added a couple things here and there. Were you talking about your warrant affidavit?
No, I was talking about the after Mr. Randazzo refused to speak to me and closed the door. I went over to the victim's office, and I had a hard time getting in because after the phone calls, they changed the way they did business. The door was locked. There was no more free entry. There was a bell placed on the door, so you had to buzz yourself in or ring the bell, and then somebody would come to the door and ask who was it. They didn't just open up the door until I identified myself, and then the door opened. I don't think I put that in my report, and also that they were installing cameras in the hallway so they could see who's coming to the office. I don't think I mentioned that, but that's one of the things I could have had in there.
Okay, so when you say could have added in there, though, you're talking about your warrant affidavit, right?
No, I'm talking about the report itself.
Oh, the report itself. Okay. Right. So we are talking about the entirety of your actions. So you said that you would have added some facts about your observations of the victim's office into the police report, looking back now in retrospect. Is there anything else that you would have done differently that you can think of?
Not at that time. It's been a while. I don't know.
If presented with the same facts and circumstances again, would you do anything differently?
No, based on the meeting when the contact with Mr. Randazzo and him refusing to speak about the phone calls of Mrs. Cloudis and giving what she told me, okay, and the criminal history of Mr. Randazzo, which the simple assault, which pretty much interprets that a violent injury towards another, not having his side of the story and refusing to speak to me. And based on what she said to the responding officer and what she told me to protect her safety and naturally change the way of life, locking her doors and bells and cameras, I felt there was enough probable cause to take a warrant for him.
Okay, so take that as a no. If you're presented with the same facts and circumstances, you wouldn't choose to do anything differently in the course of a new investigation.
If it came out the same way, no, I would not.
Okay. And you mentioned, you were understanding the probable cause in this case to be kind of a circumstances based on this refusal to speak with you at his door, what Ms. Cloudis told you, as well as his criminal history. Did you have access to the plaintiff's criminal history prior to taking out a warrant for his arrest?
Yes, before I and everybody made a practice of it. If I get a suspect and there's a possibility that something may go wrong, I run a criminal history. And when I ran Mr. Randazzo criminal history, I seen the simple assault, obstruction of the officer, and a couple of the charges. That's when I know to take another detective with me, just to observe and to for our safety.
So when did you run his criminal history?
I can't be for sure to say. It might have been the same day that I received the case.
Okay. Were you familiar at the time with anything that he had been convicted of, or just charges that he had on his record?
Just the whatever printed out on the criminal history.
And did that tell you, whether he was convicted of anything or just charged?
I don't recall that. It's
When you say
it's a whole narrative. They give you a whole narrative of things to review. I don't recall the convictions or the no pros or nothing like that.
Okay, so you don't recall if you knew at the time, or you don't recall what they were?
I knew what the charges were. That's what I put in my report.
Mhm.
What he was charged with. As far as the outcome, I didn't put that in the report.
Okay, and were you able to see the outcome of those criminal charges at the time?
If they were on the report, they would be there. I would be able to view it.
And I'm just trying to understand, did you run his GCICs or NCICs in order to get this criminal history, or what was
That's
the way in which you went about gathering that information?
where the criminal history comes from.
Wait, so you ran his GCICs?
Yes.
Did you maintain a copy of his criminal record in your police file?
No, that's against policy. Once you print out the criminal history, you view it, you could take notes from it, but after you're finished with it, it gets shredded and it gets logged in the book as being shredded.
Okay, so it's against policy to save a copy of the GCICs into the investigative file?
Yes, cannot keep it with the file.
A couple more of these general questions, and then we'll get into the meat. Have you ever made knowingly false or misleading statements in connection with your role as a law enforcement officer?
No.
Have you ever been disciplined for failing to conduct a thorough investigation?
No.
Have you personally created or edited any police documents in response to this lawsuit?
No.
What year did you graduate from high school?
1977.
And do you have any other degrees besides a high school degree?
No, some college, but never a degree.
And can you just give us a broad overview of your career to date?
Starting from when?
Your first law enforcement position?
My first law enforcement position was when I retired from the Marine Corps. I went back home to New York, became a New York City police officer at the 17th precinct in Manhattan.
How many years were you in New York?
Just hitting 2 years. Then I relocated to Georgia.
What was the reason for the relocation?
Just cost of living.
Sure, that makes sense.
Yeah, it did.
And so you went from New York to where in Georgia?
Forest Park.
Okay. And how long were you with Forest Park?
14 years.
What was your position there?
I left as a sergeant in the Criminal Investigation Division, CID, detective.
That was the highest position you held there?
Yes.
And were you ever, or why did you leave there?
Wanted to change departments. Work in Henry County. I worked with a lot of officers, detectives, and supervisors in Henry County before agency type of work. And I decided to come to Henry County.
Okay, so you just wanted to work for a different county?
I didn't hear you.
You just wanted to work for a different department or a different county?
Yeah, just wanted to change departments.
Were you ever disciplined in your position at Forest Park?
No.
Were you ever found to be in violation of departmental policies there?
No.
Sorry, just give me 1 second. Okay, I'm going to share my screen with you and mark a document as plaintiff's exhibit 1. We'll just screen. Sergeant,
I
are you able
can't,
to see my screen now?
it's like,
It's small. Here's,
Enlarge.
oh wait, what's going on here?
Everything's very.
For some reason, it was throwing your information onto another screen in full screen mode, so you couldn't see it. So I think you can now.
yeah, I can see it now.
Let me know.
For some reason now, though, you are really choppy.
Yeah.
I'm choppy.
Yeah.
Is everybody able to hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Do you recognize this document?
I haven't never seen that before.
Okay. And this document, it says from the Forest Park Police Department for Isaac Fisher, Sergeant Isaac Fisher, was that badge at the time Forest Park 1277?
Yes, it was.
I didn't get much of that
Did
question.
you?
Michelle,
The
say
question
that.
was that your badge number? 1227?
Yes.
This is a policy violation document, as far as I can tell, that says that while you were on scene, you failed to ensure that a thorough investigation was completed, and this was during a major death investigation. Is that right?
That's what it reads, yes.
And it also says you used profanity towards a subordinate when discussing aspects of the investigation, and that these actions violated departmental policies. Is that right?
That's what it says, but that never happened.
Okay, so tell me about that. So you said you've never seen this document, is that right?
Correct.
Were you ever presented with information from Forest Park indicating that you violated police department policies in any other way from any other person?
The person that's on the bottom that says "by" the Lieutenant Belt, we had spoken about that particular night, and how it started off is that the indication was that I never responded to that particular death investigation. It was actually a suicide. He said I never responded, which I did. Forest taken didn't do a proper investigation. So I recall when I got there, no one had went into the house. There were officers standing all around, and I took charge of that scene. So that was false. And he and I spoke about that. And as far as the profanity against another officer, I was speaking. The officer was, I recall, the officer that he indicated that I was using vanity towards was not in the group I was talking to. We were talking about the crime scene itself. That's why in this particular incident, if something like this was written, then I would have a chance to write something other than what was said.
Oh, did you write a response to this?
No, I did not.
Let me just finish the question, sorry.
I think we together.
In response to this allegation that your actions violated departmental policies, that was made by Lieutenant James. Could you?
I can't hear you.
Yes, you're breaking up really bad.
I think, Sam, maybe if you stop sharing your screen, that seems like when our troubles started.
Oh, okay, is that better?
Go ahead.
Much better.
Okay, is that better? You can hear me? All right.
Perfect.
So I don't know if you answered this question yet based on the feedback issue, but did you write anything in response to an indication that you violated departmental policy when you were at Forest Park Police Department?
I don't know if it was, I wrote something, and it might have been pertaining to this incident. I'm not sure.
Were you ever found? Okay, that's okay. And do you know if you were ever disciplined as a result of the incident described in the document we were looking at?
Never.
Were you disciplined in any other law enforcement positions that you held?
No.
What was the first date that you became involved in an investigation related to phone calls placed at Susan Cloudis?
Say that again?
What was the first date that you became involved in an investigation related to phone calls placed to Susan Cloudis?
I don't remember the exact date. I don't have a case file in front of me.
Okay, I'm gonna pull up another document. Hopefully we don't have too much trouble with the feedback. Let's see.
And Sam, if you want, I can try and do this on my end.
That'd be great.
If this isn't working.
If you could, that'd be great. Can you pull up the solicitor's file, page 30?
Yep.
We'll mark the solicitor's file as plaintiff's exhibit 2.
This is what you want, Sam?
Yes, thank you. So this document, recognize this document?
Yes.
Okay, what is this?
It's a supplemental report to the initial police report that was taken.
Okay, and for the record, this is page 30 of the solicitor's file that we've just marked as plaintiff's exhibit 2. This is dated April 25th, 2018. This is the first document that you're aware of that indicates the earliest involvement you might have had with this investigation?
That wouldn't be the first document. It'd be the initial police report.
Okay, is there any other document that might clue us into the first time you got involved with the case?
Yes, the first responding officer to the report. That's what I read first.
Okay, but you weren't actually with the responding officer to the report, right?
Correct.
And so what I'm trying to get at is, when were you assigned to work on this case, since you weren't with the initial responding officers?
It'll probably be if I started at that date, it'll be the 25th.
Okay, so to the best of your knowledge, it was April 25th, 2018 when you first got involved with this case. Is that right?
Yes. Or it could be a day after. It depends on and I don't know exactly when, but some reports, if we go out and do an investigation today, we're taking notes. When we type the notes in, it'll come up to that same day that we typed the notes. So it could have been that day. You understand what I'm saying?
You were saying that it could have been a day or so before or after this report is dated, just
It'd been
based on the
after.
input?
It'd have been after. For example,
Mhm.
and I don't know for sure because I've just been in such a long time. If I spoken to both parties on the 24th and it was late during the day, the next day I would type in my notes. And that's a standard of the cases. But that date will be the date you start typing the notes.
Okay. But in that case, if you had done anything on the 24th, you would have written it down, right?
Not in typed form.
All right, so this is the earliest record we have, and you might have been involved a day or so before. Based on the date here, it looks like, you know, you were inputting your notes for the first time on the 25th. Is that right?
That could be true, yes.
Okay. And so, Zach, can you turn to page 29? I think it's just the page before, yeah. Do you recognize this document?
Yes.
What is this?
That's from the Sergeant Gassi, who he receives anywhere from 30 to 60 reports from the road. He would briefly scan all those reports and he would assign, let's say, because I've done it, he would assign reports with leads,
Right.
like quick leads, names, dates, and things of such. Scanning all those reports, anything he felt or any other supervisor felt that wasn't a quickly resolved or something that could be worked right away, they would inactivate it. But inactivated cases can always come back. It's just something that they do.
Absolutely, and we'll talk about that. So, you know, this is it's got a case number at the top of it, the 118006122. Do you know that case number to be associated with this investigation into phone calls made to Susan Cloudis?
If that's the case number, I think so, yes.
Okay, and so is it fair to say that from reading Godsey's narrative here that he was not assigning or choosing not to assign this case at that time due to a lack of investigative leads? Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, and you said Godsey was one of your supervisors?
Yes.
Okay. And why was it not assigned at that time on April 2nd, 2018, due to a lack of investigative leads?
You would have to ask him that. And basically, it's like I said, when I told you that we get all the cases from the road, and he's just scanning cases, and he'll inactivate one, unfound another, assign. Everything is like done that day. And like I said, in cases that are inactivated, they come back. They can be activated and they can be worked.
Right, but you don't at this point, even now, know why he didn't assign the case, at least initially, due to a lack of investigative leads?
No, only from past experience with him in cases and other supervisors with cases.
Did your past experience tell you anything about why he wasn't assigning this one?
Probably, like I said, he was just scanning them and assigning cases that had leads, names, you know, things like that. Because we get assigned, like I said, 4 or 5 cases a day, and this is a way of not eliminating so many cases being assigned.
Right, right. But let me just be clear, on April 2nd, 2018, Corey Randazzo was not a suspect in this case. Is that right?
No.
And in fact, no one was. There were no investigative leads at the time.
Correct.
Have there been any investigative leads since this Godsey report of April 2nd, 2018?
Yes, the one that I did.
And is that the plaintiff in this case, Corey Randazzo?
Yes.
Have there been any other individuals identified as investigative leads in this case?
No.
Was there any video footage collected at any point as part of the investigation?
No.
What does Henry County Police Department say about recording citizen interactions?
What do they say about recording citizens' interactions?
Right. So for an investigative interview, let's say, is there a Henry County Police Department policy about whether or not officers should record investigative interviews?
I don't recall the policy verbatim, but when we're conducting an interview in the office, we have interview rooms where we record things like that.
Okay, so policies generally to record an interview that happens in the police department, right?
Well, now it's the uniform officers have video cameras now.
Right, body worn camera.
Which is part of policy.
Okay, and are officers, at least to your knowledge of the Henry County Police Department policy, under that policy, are they encouraged or required to videotape with their body worn camera an investigative interview in the field?
With the body worn camera, yes, uniform officers, they do activate.
Okay. Did you wear your body worn camera during any investigation in this case?
Criminal Investigation Division didn't have body worn cameras at that time, only uniform division.
Okay. Did you have a tape recorder or cell phone that you used to record interviews as a detective at that time?
No, I didn't have one.
You didn't carry any recording device when you went on investigations?
No,
Why not?
I didn't have one.
Do you believe it would have been, well, was it pursuant to policy that you didn't have one?
No, I just didn't have one that day.
Was that your choice not to have one? Could you have had one?
I can't think back if it was my choice then, or I can't think back if 2018.
Okay, and just to be clear, you didn't even have a phone with you when you were doing investigations?
Oh, I had a phone, yeah.
Okay, and so your phone could have recorded conversations if you wanted it to, right?
I don't recall if the phone that I got had recording or not. I can't recall. We don't have several phones since then. Now they record. I can put it on and it record the phone that it doesn't have a body worn camera system in it, but it can record.
Okay. Did the phone that you had at the time of this investigation in 2018 have the ability to record?
I don't recall that.
But you at least had a phone at
I
the
had a
time?
phone, yes.
And did you by choice not take along a tape recorder or any other recording device?
I don't know if it was by choice. I just didn't take one that day.
Okay, could you have taken one?
There's a possibility, yes.
And if you wanted one, the police department would have provided you with one, right?
If they had one available, yes.
Are there any recordings at all that you're aware of regarding conversations you or any other officers had with either Cloudis or the plaintiff, Corin Randazzo?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Are there any new documents that you're aware of that have been collected as part of this investigation since the case was dismissed?
No.
Or since all the criminal charges were dismissed?
No.
Okay. All right, other than the documentation that was provided to us in discovery, are you aware of any other documents or interactions with law enforcement that the plaintiff might have had between the date of the phone calls in this case, March 30th, 2018, and May 14th, 2018, when the case was dismissed?
I recall him calling me, asking for a copy of the report. That's it. I don't know if anybody else he spoke to.
I sort of missed what you said. You said you recall plaintiff calling you?
Yes.
Okay, at what point?
I don't know exactly what point, but it was after, I believe he already made bond and he called looking for a copy of the police report.
Okay, is that the extent of the conversation? Can I have a police report?
Yes, and I know I probably directed him to the records department. That's where I directed him to.
Okay, other than
That's
that,
it.
no. Okay, other than that, no other conversations or interactions you're aware of between plaintiff and law enforcement, between time of incident and time of dismissal?
Correct.
Zach, can you pull up the solicitor's file again, Exhibit 2, and turn to page 6? Thanks. Sergeant, do you recognize this document?
Yes, that's the phone records from Mr. Mendoza.
Okay, and how did you obtain these phone records?
Through subpoena.
And was that a subpoena to Google Voice?
Yes, if that's the carrier, yes.
And did you, or is this the only phone record that you obtained during your investigation?
Yes.
And so you agree you did not obtain Susan Cloudis's phone records at any point during your investigation, is that right?
No, you're not.
Why not?
Didn't have no reason to at the time, and it would show basically the same thing in calling her.
Do you agree that plaintiff's number is 678-379-8045 as it shows this voice number on this document?
Yes.
And this phone record identifies calls that were made from the time period of March 29th, 2018 through the 31st of the same month. Is that right? So it goes 29, 30, 31.
Yes.
And do you agree that Susan Cloudis she didn't make any allegations of any threatening calls whatsoever on the 29th or on the 31st? Is that right?
I don't recall that. No.
So to the best of your knowledge, there was no indication that she received threatening calls on the 29th or the 31st. Is that right?
Yes. Like I said, I don't recall that. No. The dates. No.
You're saying you don't recall the dates?
Only from what's on the report. Yes.
Right, and the report only indicates calls in question were made on March 30th, 2018. Is that right?
I believe so, yes.
And this call record reflects one call placed to Susan Cloudis's work line number, which was the 770-474-5515 number. Is that right?
I believe so.
Other than that one call, did you locate any phone record evidence that documented a second or a third call placed from the plaintiff's line, the 678-379-8045, to any number associated with Susan Cloudis?
No, not during that time, no.
Have you since?
No, only based on what she told me and what was in her statement.
Okay, but to be clear, there's never been any phone record evidence that documented a second call placed from a phone line connected to the plaintiff to any number associated with Susan Cloudis. Is that right?
That's correct.
And then, these other, where there's a little Sharpie dot next to these phone calls, or this is a missed call we see, and then 2 text messages, one in and one out. Is that right?
Yes, at the time that I was unaware that those were text messages in and out.
You were unaware that an SMS out meant a text message out at the time of this investigation?
Correct.
And you were unaware that SMS in meant a text message in at the time of this investigation?
Correct.
When did you figure out that that's what that code meant?
Oh, when was it? What's that?
Sorry, while you're thinking about that, Zach, can you pull up a document labeled home underscore Susan Cloudis RE?
Yeah, you can. She's asking you when.
That's what we-
You can tell her when you think it was. what time period.
Sam,
I
is
can't
that,
hear you, Mr.
go ahead.
Me?
No, I was talking to Michelle.
Oh,
I couldn't hear what Mr. Morris was saying.
I was telling him that she's asking when he learned that information and not necessarily from who. So I don't have an objection. And I just instructed him to answer it based upon when he recalls learning that information.
Okay, if you guys could make all conversation on the record, please. Thanks.
I was. You just didn't hear it. I didn't have an off the record conversation.
Okay, if we could just make it all audible. Thank you.
I was. I'm sorry. I didn't. You didn't
No,
hear
no, I'm just going forward. We're good. But yeah, so the question was, Sergeant, when did you figure out that this SMS out, SMS in meant text message in and out?
when I first spoke to the attorney.
Okay. And Zach, can we pull up the home underscore Susan Cloudis RE document?
Sam, what is that in the same location? Same folder?
Yeah.
Okay. I see it now. It wasn't updating.
Okay.
Give me 1 second and I will pull it up.
Okay, thanks. While we're still looking at this document, it's the 770-474-5515 was the number we were talking about. That's the business number, right? Sergeant?
Yes.
We can't hear you sometimes.
Not the problem. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So can you enlarge that so we can see the bottom portion? So if you could scroll to the top two just for a moment. I'll represent to you that this is Susan Cloudis's website. Have you ever been to her website or Googled her?
No.
If you'll scroll to the bottom, would you agree with me that the website has her business address as she's a realtor for Susan Cloudis Real Estate listed as 770-474-5515?
Object to form. Are you asking, is that what it shows when you printed this PDF, this web page on April 21st, or what it showed way back when?
Well, I'll ask you, how did you find out that, the 5515 number was her business line if you didn't Google her or look at her webpage?
If I recall, I think it's in her statement in the officer's report.
Okay. But looking with me now, would you agree that, as a real estate agent, she had this number public facing on her website at the time of this incident?
I have no way of knowing that.
Okay. Would you agree that it makes sense that as a real estate agent, she had a number public facing?
To our office, yes.
And you were aware at the time that she was a real estate agent, right?
Yes.
Okay, we can take that document down. You actually knew her prior to this investigation, right?
Yes.
How did you know her?
In passing, we never were like speaking buddies or anything like that. Just knew her being a member at the country club.
Oh, you're both members of the same country club.
Yes.
And that's the Eagles Landing Country Club, right?
Yes.
Okay, so casual acquaintance from the country club, right?
Not even casual.
Oh, but you knew her name, was that right?
Oh, yes. Everybody did.
Okay, and you knew her profession?
Yes.
Did you know her husband, Jim?
Yes.
How'd you know him?
From being with her?
So same way, just being members at the same club.
Yes, that's it.
And did you ever socialize with them?
No, like I said, they got their own group that they socialize with.
Got it. In Ms. Claudus's deposition, she mentioned that your wife's also a real estate agent. Is that right?
Part-time.
Okay. Did they socialize together, your wife and Ms. Claudus?
No,
Do they work in part of any of the same real estate circles?
no.
Got it. So I just want to talk to you briefly about the attempted secession for the Eagles Landing away from the city of Stockbridge. So can you just describe briefly what you know about the Eagles Landing, their attempt to secede from the city of Stockbridge?
As much as everybody else knew that it was in the works. That's it.
Okay, would you agree there was a lot of media coverage about that issue for some time leading up to some votes on the issue?
If there was, I didn't see any of it.
You weren't aware of any media coverage on the issue?
I was aware, but I never seen any of it.
Okay. How did you become aware if you didn't see it?
Talk.
Oh, people talked about it, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, and especially, as a resident of the country club, people were talking about how Eagles Landing was going to attempt at least to secede from the city, right?
Yes.
And would you agree that there were kind of people on both sides of this issue, people strongly opposed to it and people strongly for it? Is that right?
I agree with that.
And you probably knew people on both sides of the issue living in Eagles Landing, right?
Yes.
And would you agree that one of the concerns that people who were opposed to the movement had was that separating out the southern portion of the city with its main commercial corridor would force the city of Stockbridge to impose new property taxes?
I can answer that in two parts. Yes, and then for another one, because of the up and coming police department in Stockbridge, they're gonna get taxed too.
That the police department would get taxed itself?
No, Stockbridge is forming a police department,
Oh, okay.
so the citizens gonna have to pay taxes.
Okay, so a two-part reason that some people at least were concerned about this annexation that would raise taxes. Is that right?
Correct, that's what I've heard, yes.
And that was something you had heard before this investigation got underway. Is that right?
Yes.
So the calls that you were investigating, we talked briefly about, they took place on March 30th, 2018. Is that right?
Yes.
Do you know what sine die is? I might not be saying it right.
What?
Sine die with the Georgia legislature, I think is what she's asking about.
Yeah,
No,
just make any clarifications to me, if you don't understand my question.
no, I don't understand.
Okay, yeah, and your lawyer was right. I was asking about this this day in the Georgia legislature where bills, it's like the final date for bills to get passed before both chambers, before it goes to the governor. It's fair if you don't know much about legislature. Just let me know.
I don't.
Okay. Zach, can you pull up this article, Eagles Landing final bill? I think it's update _ Eagles Landing. And can you scroll down? This article is dated March 30th, 2018. And I'll represent to you that it says, the Georgia Senate in the last hours of its 2018 session on March 29th approved the House of Representative amendments, Senate Bill 263, authorizing a charter for a proposed city of Eagles Landing. So would you agree that this proposal for the creation of a new Eagles Landing city had just passed the state Senate by midnight the night before these the March 30th date that you were investigating.
Yeah, if that's what it says, I would agree with that, yes.
And can you pull up, Zach, the CBS 46 article? We'll mark, I think we're at 4, exhibit 4 for the last article. And then 5 for this new one. Okay, have you ever seen this article?
No.
If you could scroll to page 2, Zach, and pull it up a little bit bigger. Top of page 2 of this article on the same issue of the annexation of, Eagles Landing. It has a quote from the mayor pro temp, Lakeisha Gant. Did you know she was the mayor at the time?
No.
You didn't know who the mayor at the time was?
At Stockbridge?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. So at the top of this article, it has a quote from her where she says, this would devastate our community and any city in the state of Georgia. This is unprecedented. And at this time, we are fighting back by prayer through prayer. Were you aware that you would agree with me that devastating, the word devastating was used as a talking point against this annexation effort, through the media coverage?
If that's what it reads, yes.
And also through, your understanding of the issue in the community, right? People were talking about it as being devastating as far as what it would do to the community. And like you were saying, the tax issues.
Objective form.
From the talk, yes.
Right. And so can you pull up, Zach, one more article, the Eagles Landing Advocates article? We'll mark this as exhibit 6. Had you seen this article before during your investigation?
No.
Do you recognize that to be Susan Cloudis speaking at a committee meeting for the Eagles Landing Educational Research Committee?
Pretty blurred, but yes. Okay, there we go. Yes.
Okay, that's Susan Cloudis, right?
Yes.
Okay, and you'd agree with me that during your investigation, you learned that she was an advocate, in her in the efforts to spin off Eagles Landing into a new municipality.
Her and others, yes.
Right, she was part of a board. She was a member on the board called the Eagle Landing Educational Research Committee, right?
I never knew the full name, but yes, that's she was a part of that board, yes.
Okay. And you were also aware that, she spoke, as an advocate on this issue at forums that were held by the committee, right?
Yes.
Did you ever attend any of these committee meetings?
I attended one.
Okay, which one was that?
I can't recall. They had so many. After the first one, I never went back.
Okay, and were you a proponent of the annexation?
No.
You were opposed to it?
Yes.
Okay. Any reason why?
They need to change, I think. Stay the way it is.
Right. We can take that down. Thank you. Can you pull up the solicitor's file again? Page 27. So when you got Officer Foster's initial report in this case, did you learn anything else from his investigation other than what he wrote in this report?
No.
And would you recognize what we're looking at now to be Officer Foster's initial report?
Pull it up a little bit.
It's kind of small.
I just want to see the bottom of it, the bottom where his name would be. The bottom. There we go. Yeah.
You can. Okay.
There we go.
So this looks to be Officer Foster's initial report on the case.
Yes.
Did you speak with him directly or just read this report to get the information?
I read the report.
And so you didn't speak with him?
No.
Okay. And so did you get any other information from Foster or anyone else before you started diving into your investigation?
I received the report and it had the accurate phone information in it, which came with the file that I've got.
See, can you say that one more time? You received the report.
In addition, with the report, inside the folder was the accurate report, which shows who the phone number comes back to.
Got it. So there was an accurate report that traced the phone number, at least one of them that called into Cloudus to the plaintiff.
Yes,
But of course, did you know Officer Foster at all prior to getting involved in this investigation?
yes,
And you, of course, know him to be an accurate and complete report writer when he's undertaking an investigation, right?
I can't tell you one way or another. Every officer writes different reports different ways.
Okay, but
I never corrected or read a majority of his reports to make that determination.
Sure, but you're not aware of any instances where he's left out, specific threats made to a victim in a police report that he was aware of, right?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Okay. You don't know of any evidence that Officer Foster would, misrepresent a fact, right?
Yes.
And it would also be, police policy. Or let me ask you, so when Officer Foster was out doing this initial investigation meeting with Cloudus, do you know if he was wearing a body-worn camera at that time?
No, I do not.
Okay, did you ask for any audio or video from his interaction with Cloudus?
No.
Why not?
I didn't ask. I don't know why I didn't ask.
If he had audio or video, he could have provided that to you, right?
He would have put it in his report that he had it on.
Okay, he would have put it in his report. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
And if he had it on, he could have provided that to you if you asked him, right?
Correct.
Okay. Can you scroll onto the narrative on the next page, Zach? Okay. Okay, so looking at what Officer Foster wrote in this initial report, he said that he at 10:15, right, on March 30th, 2018, Cloudus received a phone call on her cell phone from a number 678-379-8045. And that caller stated, "Is this where all citizens of Stockbridge needs to send their tax bills since you devastated the city of Stockbridge?" Is that right?
Yes, that's in the report.
Okay, and then he reported that she told him that, she hung up the phone right after that statement.
That's in the report, yes.
And Zach, if you could scroll down to her written statement, which should be 2 or 3 pages down below in this file, I think, right there. So now we're looking at page 32 of the solicitor's file. Would you agree that that statement that Foster wrote in his report, it's word for word what she wrote here, on March 30th, 2018, 678-379-8045 called, and caller at 10:15 said, "Is this where all the citizens of Stockbridge needs to send their tax bills since you devastated the city of Stockbridge?" Just for that first call, that's word for word what Foster wrote down, right?
So appears to be.
Is there any other, well, let's go, sorry, on page 12, Zach. Next page. Yeah. Do you know who wrote this factual write-up?
No, I do not.
Okay. Can you blow it up a little bit bigger? So do you know who might have written this?
I couldn't tell you.
Okay. And it looks that, again, we have a third time where it's documented in a different place in the police file that says on March 30th, she, meaning Susan Cloudis, because that's the victim, listed at the top here. She received a phone call on her cell phone from phone number 678-379-8045, and she stated the caller said, "Is this where all the citizens of Stockbridge needs to send their tax bills since you devastated the city of Stockbridge?" Then hang up. Just for the first call, you'd agree with me that that is word for word what we've seen two other places, both in her written statement and in Foster's incident report, right?
It appears to be.
Okay. Are there any other write-ups you're aware of the substance of these phone calls in a police report anywhere else besides what we've just been looking at?
Not that I'm aware.
Okay. Did you ever document, the substance of these calls as Susan Cloudis described anything to you?
In my report, what's written in my report?
Okay. And let's see where that would be. Thank you. So in your report, we've got, I don't see that you actually made a write-up of the words that, she remembered hearing on these phone calls, but you did in the bottom paragraph of this document, if you could blow that up a little bit more, you asked her, about her written statement. And if there was anything else, if you could see in this last paragraph, that she did not include in it when she had written it. And she stated there was nothing else to add except that she was worried or in fear of her safety because of the calls. Is that right?
Correct.
Is there anywhere else in your report that you would have written, the substance of these calls down?
No, I would just go by what's in the officer's reports and her statement.
Okay, so just to be clear, you're not aware of any other official write-up of the substance of these calls that were made to Susan Cloudis by any officer or anyone investigating this case?
Correct.
Hold on one second. Okay, and then looking at this paragraph a little bit more closely, in the second sentence, you're talking about when you met with her at your office, right? At her office.
At her office.
Right. And you asked her if she received any further calls from the listed number, and she stated that if a number shows up without a name, she will not answer it. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know if she spoke, if Susan Cloudis spoke with any other officers other than yourself and Officer Foster? And we know she spoke generally to Chief Ireland at one point. Do you know if she spoke to anyone else about the substance of these calls?
No.
Okay. Zach, can you play the 11 Alive interview? And we'll mark it as Exhibit 7. And let me know if you need a break at any point. We're kind of going quickly through here, so.
No, go ahead.
Okay. We're not getting the audio, Zach. This was the issue I was having before. I'm not sure why.
Can y'all hear the audio, or is it
No.
just?
Oh, you can? No.
on the Eagles Landing Educational Research.
Can you hear it now?
Yeah, thank you.
All right, cool. Let me go back.
Several threatening phone calls to a board member on the Eagles Landing Educational Research Committee. That's the group that wants to make Eagles Landing its own city. This is a story we first told you about over the weekend. Well, Corin Michael Randazzo was arrested for making terroristic threats after police discovered he was the one behind the calls. But tonight, Christy Etheridge talks to the woman who got those calls.
She doesn't want to show her face, but she found the courage to talk about the calls that she says have now put her entire family in danger.
It's really changed my life. I thought I've been followed a couple of times, always looking over my shoulder, which is something I've never done before. Does it make you, I mean, are you living in fear? Absolutely. It scared me to death.
The calls started at the end of March, the day after the end of Georgia's legislative session. 3 calls back to back with a serious threat.
He said, "You better watch your back." And I said, "What?" And he said, "You better watch your back because of your involvement with the city of Stockbridge and the city of Eagles Landing. We're going to take you out."
How did you even respond?
I hung up.
She says all the calls sounded like they were from different people, 2 of them men and 1 the voice of a woman. But police say Corin Michael Randazzo is the only one implicated in the case. But he's a stranger to the woman he called.
Never met the man, do not know the man, never heard his name, never seen him.
She says she stopped driving her car and now checks in with her family every couple of hours.
They were told that just because someone came after me doesn't mean they can't come after them.
The city of Stockbridge sent us a statement that says, in part, the reported incident is unfortunate and bothersome. We will continue to advocate civility in all community discussions. But this board member has a feeling this is only going to get worse before the November vote. Have these threats or these phone calls made you want to back down at all?
Absolutely not.
Christy Etheridge, 11 Alive News.
Okay, and had you heard that report before during your prior to today?
You broke up a little bit.
Sorry, have you heard that report before prior to today?
First time.
That was the first time you heard it. Okay, did you hear Susan Cloudis's voice or recognize it to be her on that interview?
Yes.
And would you agree that during that interview, she told the news reporter that all the calls sounded like they were from different people, 2 of them men and 1 of them the voice of a woman?
During that interview, yes.
Okay. Did she tell you that it was 2 men and 1 woman?
No, if I recall, she told me that it was 2 calls from male and sounded to be like the same male to her and 1 female.
Did you write that down anywhere?
No, I did not.
Why not?
I can't explain why. It's just like I didn't explain why the door was locked. And I just recall that being said to me when I interviewed her.
That was when you went to her office?
Yes.
Okay. So she told you she heard 2, or on 2 of the calls, she heard a male voice, and to her, it sounded to be the same male voice, right?
The same person, yes.
Okay, and then she had a 3rd call with a 3rd voice that sounded like a female. Is that right?
Yes, one of the calls, she said it was a female.
Did she tell you that it sounded like someone was trying to disguise their voice during all of this?
I don't recall that, if she said that or not.
Let's see. Zach, can you pull up the ELERC press release? And we'll mark this as Plaintiff's Exhibit 8. Do you recognize this document?
No.
Did you receive press releases from the City of Eagles Landing Educational Research Committee when you were or closer to the time of this incident?
No, I did not.
Did you have access to them?
I may have, but I didn't receive any.
Can you scroll down to the body of the document a little bit more? Okay, thanks. So this document says, let's see. In the third paragraph, if you could blow it up just a little bit more, that the incidents have resulted in charges of harassing phone calls and terroristic threats. And while the investigation is ongoing, multiple suspects have been charged, and one bound over for a hearing for a grand jury. That suspect was Michael Randazzo. And so here where it says, you know, multiple suspects have been charged. Was that true?
That didn't come from my case file, no.
Okay, so that's not true, right?
Not true.
Okay, no one else was charged in this case besides Corin Randazzo.
That is correct.
Okay, and the article goes on to commend you for finding, if you could scroll down a little bit more.
Oh, I see it.
Oh, there we go. In the next paragraph, to commend you, Isaac Fisher, for the great work and performed to find the individuals involved and make arrests, plural, right? Is that also untrue? That there were multiple arrests, that is.
That is correct.
Okay. Still only one arrest to your knowledge.
Yes.
Okay. Zach, if you can pull up the dismissals. And here we'll mark as exhibits 9 and plaintiff's exhibits 9 and 10. Do you recognize this first document?
And no, I do not.
Have you ever seen the dismissal in the case that you investigated against Corin Michael Randazzo?
No, I have not.
Do you agree in looking at this document that, you know, for the charge of terroristic threats and acts in the state of Georgia case versus Corin Michael Randazzo, the state could not prove the case beyond a reasonable doubt based on a lack of corroborating evidence, and that charge was dismissed?
Objective form, are you asking him if he agrees with you that that's what it says?
If he agrees that's what happened.
No.
You don't agree that's what happened?
As far as what the state can't prove, the probable cause gave me enough to get the warrant, but I don't know why the state, I've never seen this document before, so I can't really comment on it.
Okay, and so you have no idea whether the charges that you investigated were prosecuted to the fullest extent or dismissed. You just don't know. Is that what you're saying?
I wasn't informed, no.
Okay, so before seeing this document, which we can agree is a dismissal, you didn't know whether the charges were still pending?
I knew they wasn't still pending.
Were you aware that the charges were dismissed before today?
Yes.
Okay, how did you become aware of that?
By Mr. Randazzo.
Okay. When did he tell you that?
It was back in, I think when he called me about the and I can't remember, I won't guess on it, but I believe during the phone call about the police report itself, when he called and asked for it. But I can't remember if it was that day or not.
Okay. So other than by speaking with the plaintiff, you had no other indication that the case was dismissed?
This is the first time I've seen this document. And
okay. Do you agree, based on looking at this document, that the case was dismissed due to a lack of corroborating evidence?
That's what it states.
It sounds like, well, what's your position? Do you agree with the state's decision to dismiss this charge?
Objective form. I mean, one sentence, I'm not sure that you get a full rationale for the state's motivations, but he can answer it if he can.
I can't answer it.
Okay, so you're saying that you don't have an opinion on whether or not, this decision to dismiss was a good decision or a bad decision?
Well,
Objective form, the answer to the
I can't answer that.
Do you disagree with the state that they had enough evidence to move forward?
Not working for the DA's office. I don't know what they had or what they thought they didn't have.
Would the DA have anything other than what you provided them?
No,
Are you aware of if the DA did have anything other than what you provided them?
I'm not aware of anything they had or didn't have.
Okay. On the basis of what you provided the DA, did you believe that they had enough to proceed in prosecuting Corin Michael Randazzo for the charge of terroristic threats and acts?
The only thing I had is what I had as far as my probable cause, and as far as the DA's office, I then again I can't comment on what they decided and how they decided on it.
Zach, can you go back to the solicitor's file? Page 30. And then if you could scroll to the page before that as well. Thank you. So between, April 2nd, 2018 and the next page, where we can see your investigation gets started on or around April 25th. What changed between April 2nd, where there were no investigative leads and it was not being assigned to, this case getting off the back burner?
Okay. As I stated, I mean, why Sergeant Gossi didn't assign it that day and why he didn't or did, I don't know, but I know that cases are done this way in the department where a case may be inactivated without, that's something that he writes because every case has to have an entry, if you understand what I mean. So he would write that entry that he viewed it and at the time didn't have enough investigative leads, meaning that the case could be reissued and worked. But
my question, I mean, I understand that perfectly and I appreciate that clarification, but what information do came to light that changed the case from being inactive to active?
Oh, I can answer.
April 2nd to April 25th.
objective form, you can answer the people.
Okay. When Sergeant Gossi inactivated the case, it came back. The case actually came back with the accurate file. That's the new lead with Mr. Randazzo's name and phone number attached to it.
Can you repeat? I didn't hear what word you used. You said the case came back with a what?
The accurate file.
Okay. So between April 2nd and April 25th, an accurate report was produced that connected the call to Corin Michael Randazzo, and that's where you were assigned the case as a result of that piece of evidence, right?
Correct.
Okay. Any additional facts collected between April 2nd and April 25th?
No, I can't, other than what's in the report.
Okay. So on April 25th, looking at this report again, you went to Mr. Randazzo's house to do a knock and talk, right?
Correct.
And you'd agree with me that there was no probable cause to arrest him at that time.
Correct.
And what other detective went with you?
Detective Holinsky.
Walensky?
Holinsky
with an H.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think we've talked about this, but there's no video from that encounter, either from your body worn camera, because you didn't have one, or from Holinsky.
Correct.
Okay. Do you know if Holinsky had any recording devices with him?
I don't know if he had any on him, but I know none was used if he had one on him or not.
Is he was he a detective as well, or did he have a different position?
Detective.
Okay. Did you ever tell Randazzo, that if he didn't talk to you, he would be arrested?
I don't think I used those words as a threat. If I recall, I would have told him that it was basically his chance to come talk to me, because what I had, it was a chance for him to tell his side of the story about what went on. I gave him an opportunity.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. What'd you say?
I said I gave him the opportunity was to talk about the case when I went to knock on his door. He refused to talk to me. So after several knocks, he didn't come back to the door. That's when we went back to the office and I called him and said, you need to tell me your side of the story, because what I have is basically him threatening someone. And if he had something to talk about, he needed to come talk to me. I was going to say, if you don't talk to me, I'm going to arrest you. That's something I wouldn't have said.
Okay, and the fact that he refused to talk to you, you found that to be suspicious, right?
Well, suspicious and going against him, yes.
Suspicious and reason to believe that he might have, made threats to Susan Cloudis, right?
Yes.
And when you say you called him, you left him a voicemail, right?
He didn't pick up the phone, correct.
And in that voicemail, did you say, if you want to talk to me, but if you don't, I'll take out a warrant?
Yes.
And later that day, you met with Cloudis, right?
I don't know if it was before the phone call or after, but I met with her that day.
Okay, and I think I've already, hold on one second, I think you already mentioned this, but you said you asked her about a written statement, and if you could pull up the written statement, Zach. Yeah, and so you showed her this statement, right? And you asked her, is there anything else that you did not include, that you want to include?
I don't recall showing her the statement. I asked her about it.
Okay, you didn't hand it to her to show it to her?
No.
But you asked her, we've got your written statement. Is there anything else you want to add to it? And she said no. Is that right? Except for, the fact that she felt threatened for her safety.
Yes, and I took that into consideration because of the door locked now and the doorbells and the cameras going up. Yes, I believe that.
But she didn't say that she wanted to add anything else about the substance of these calls or, the way the voices sounded to her. Is that right?
Yes.
And one second. Would you agree, if you could blow that up, Zach, so we could see the words, that first call, where in her own handwriting and in her own words, she said that first caller said to her, is this where all the citizens of Stockbridge needs to send their tax bills since you devastated the city of Stockbridge? Would you agree with me that the description of the content of that first call does not constitute a crime?
I don't know the tone of voice that was used over the phone, so I can't answer that.
Would the tone of voice have made it into a crime?
It would have placed some type of fear in the call if a certain tone was used.
Okay, but did this statement contain any threat of violence?
Not written down like it is now. Okay,
and so you would agree with me that the content of this call, even in a threatening voice, would not constitute a crime?
Depends on how it was spoken to her.
Okay, so you're saying that if it was said in a really mean, threatening voice, it may have constituted a crime with those words.
Correct. Exactly how you put it. Yes, threatening voice. Yes.
Okay. Let's see. Can you turn to page 18? We're still in the solicitor's file.
You need a break?
No.
Oh yeah, please let me know. I know we've been going a minute without a break. Okay, if you could scroll to the bottom of that and blow it up. There we go. Or would you agree with me this is a copy of your warrant affidavit in this case?
We can't see the top of it.
Okay, sorry. Can you see the top of it now?
Yes,
Okay, would you agree with me this is a copy of your warrant application in this case?
yes.
And at the bottom, you know, we've got a brief summary of what happened. And can you make it a little bit bigger? Sorry, Zach. It says the first words that you used are the offender in concert with an unknown female did telephone, right?
Yes.
What evidence did you have that Mr. Randazzo was making any phone call in concert with an unknown female?
Based on the, I think, I can't remember. I want to say it was, I can't remember.
You don't recall any evidence that you had to include the statement that he acted in concert with an unknown female, is that right?
No, I think based on the time that it was called back-to-back calls, what led me to do that.
Okay, so other than the fact that Ms. Cloudis at some point said that she received back-to-back calls, one of them was a female, you had no other evidence that Mr. Randazzo was working or connected to a female to place any calls to Ms. Cloudis, is that right?
Yes.
Did you find Sonny Randazzo's number, who was Mr. Randazzo's mom?
Did I find her number?
Yeah, did you have her number in the course of your investigation?
I had a number that was, I believe it was attached to her driver's information or her arrest profile.
Zach, can you scroll down to, oh, I'm sorry, you can finish.
Go ahead.
Oh, can you scroll down to the slides? Let's see. There you go. Thank you. What page is this of the solicitor's file? Let's see. All right, here we have a slide that was placed into the police file for Sonny Randazzo, is that right?
Yes.
Who created these slides? Do you know?
I did.
You did? For what purpose?
When we first made contact with him, there was 2 vehicles in the driveway of the home.
Uh-huh.
Once back at the office, we ran the tags. One of the vehicles came back to Mr. Randazzo, and the other one came back to Mr. Dixon, I believe. And that information I put into this particular slide.
Well, were you making the slides for any reason? Was it just for your own purposes, or did you have like a presentation about this case?
No, anytime I run a tag or something, they came back with that particular person, I add them into the report.
And this is the format that you typically use to add a new kind of potential suspect into the report?
Yes.
Okay, so was Sonny Randazzo a potential suspect at this point when you included her in the report?
Just a person of interest that I never got a chance to speak to.
Okay, did you, so it looks here on this slide that there's a number that you found that was connected to Sonny Randazzo, right?
Correct.
Did you find Sonny Randazzo's number associated with any calls placed to Cloudis through any evidence?
No, and when I make up these particular files, some of the information, i.e. when you go down to a phone number and address, they may be different. And I don't recall whether or not if I called that number to speak with her about it or if it was disconnected.
You don't know if you called her, right?
I don't recall if I did or not, or call that number, that particular number.
Okay, but if you had spoken to her, you would have written that down in your file, right?
Yes.
And you didn't anywhere?
No.
And so it's also fair to say that you didn't run her phone records, right?
No, I did not.
And so you have no evidence that Sonny Randazzo was connected to any calls placed to Cloudus.
Correct.
Can you scroll down to the Dixon slide? Sorry, it's below that. Yeah, there we go. So you mentioned there was another car parked in the driveway when you had conducted the knock and talk with Corin Randazzo, and that the other car was registered to this person, Christopher David Dixon?
Yes.
Okay. Did you have, and you've got a phone number here for him as well, right?
Yes, and those numbers, like I said, are pulled off of the driver's license information. 9 times out of 10, they're right. 9 times out of 10, they're wrong.
Did you call this number?
I don't recall if I called him or not.
Okay, but again, if you had called him, spoken with him, then you would have written that down, right?
Yes, if I had made contact with him and spoke to him, I would have put it on the report.
And you didn't write anything down about any conversation you had with him, right?
That's correct.
And it's also fair to say that you didn't collect his phone records, Christopher Dixon's phone records.
No, I did not.
And you didn't have any evidence to connect Christopher Dixon to any phone calls placed to Susan Cloudus, right?
All right.
Can you scroll to page 24? Can you go up a little bit so we can see the top of it? Do you recognize this document?
Yes.
Investigation summary.
Yes.
Do you know who wrote this?
I did.
Can you blow it up a little bit bigger? Is this entire summary true and accurate? You can take a minute to read it if you need.
Yes.
Okay. And that was based on your investigation?
Yes. It's a brief
So,
summary.
Sorry?
It's a brief summary of the case.
Okay, and so it's true that, based on your investigation, first caller associated with the statement, is this where the citizens of Stockbridge need to send their tax bills since she was devastating the city of Stockbridge? That was attributed to a male caller, right? That's true. And it's also true that shortly after, a female called and said, watch your back. We're going to take care of you for devastating the city of Stockbridge, right?
Yes, that's what I put in.
And that's true and accurate from your investigation, right?
Yes.
Can you pull up, Zach? I had a document titled New Report by Fisher.
Sam, we talked about this document, but we never showed it to Detective Fisher.
Okay.
Dismissal. I don't know whether you want to touch that or not.
Sure. This is the dismissal paperwork for the second charge. I know we looked at the one for terroristic threats. This one was for harassing phone calls. Had you ever seen this dismissal before today?
No.
Similarly, you weren't aware, other than by speaking with Corin Randazzo, that this charge was dismissed against him?
Yes, it's the first time I've seen this document.
And would you agree with prosecutor's decision not to proceed in prosecuting the charge of harassing phone calls?
Based on what they got here, says most likely made the phone calls, but it wasn't enough. But that's their document. This is the first time I'm seeing it.
Okay, would you agree with their position that there wasn't enough to continue to prosecute Mr. Randazzo on the evidence they had?
If that's what they stated.
Thanks, Zach. And then pulling up this document, well, Mark, I think we're on 10? Do we know from the court reporter?
I don't know, Sam. I don't know
Okay.
what 10 or 11.
Okay. I believe this is 11, but I'm not sure. So we'll mark this as plaintiff's exhibit 11 and blow it up just a little bit bigger. This document was produced to us just like this, in this kind of a blank PDF document without any title or heading on it. Do you know, was this produced in its native format?
Switching systems in the department, we couldn't go back and put, and I think it's during that time, a document into the old system that would show up, because we already got rid of the system. So we typed this one up and put it with the file.
Sorry, I'm trying to understand what you said. You got a new like software system?
Yes, and the old system, and I don't remember what they call it, we couldn't add anything to it. We had to go into a Word. If we were adding something to the case, we would have to put it in a Word document and put it with the file itself.
Is that what you did here? This was like added via Word document?
Yes, that would be the Word document right there.
Okay, and then you just placed it blank page with this type on it into the file.
Yes.
And you authored this document, right?
Yes.
Is it true and accurate?
Yes.
Okay. Can you blow it up a little bigger so we can see the last paragraph? This is kind of just a supplement to your report, right?
Right.
When did you create this?
I don't recall when I did this, or what time of day.
Was this prior to taking out the warrant?
The way it reads, yes, but yes, I would say it would be the way I wrote it.
And so in the last paragraph, you say, having the number coming back to Randazzo and his actions while at his home and the charges in his criminal history, I felt there was enough probable cause to apply for an arrest warrant for the 2 listed charges. Is that right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So you agree that, the call, when you say the number came back to Randazzo, that was only the number for one associated with one call, right?
Talking about the phone numbers in general, the 8, what was it, 8 something, 0 something.
Right. The phone number that you attributed to the plaintiff came back to one call to Cloudis's office, right?
At the time, I think her cell phone also. Based on what she provided with her statement and her report.
Okay. Were you familiar at the time that she could respond to her office line, on her cell phone?
No, I did not.
The phone records that we looked at previously, right? That had one number associated with the plaintiff that came into the 5515 business line for Cloudis, right?
That's what it showed, yes.
And that's the only phone record that you were referencing here when you say the number coming back to Randazzo, right? That's the only call record you have that connected Mr. Randazzo to Cloudis, right?
Objective form. You can answer if you can.
I did that based on the number of times she said she was called. I don't know if it was a phone, but she stated that several calls was made to her by that particular number. And that was my whole reason why I went to talk to Mr. Randazzo to find out his side of the story. Having him not providing his side of the story and what's presented in the case, an initial report that several calls were made to her and things were said, and his criminal history, especially the simple assault charge, I felt there was no probable cause for me to get a warrant for his arrest.
And I just want to be very clear about what you just said too, because you said that Cloudis told you that she received multiple calls from the number associated with Corin Rendazzo? Is that what you said?
I believe that's in her statement.
I'm not aware of that appearing anywhere in her statement. So I'd like to go back to that in a minute and you can point out where that is. But it's your testimony today that she told you that she received multiple calls from the number associated with Corin Michael Rendazzo. Is that right?
Yes.
And we'll go back and look at her statement in a minute. Actually, Zach, can you pull it up now? There we go. He's fast. Let's pull it up and point out to me where in her written statement she says she got multiple calls from 678-379-8045.
That is what she told me when I went to her office.
Okay, so it doesn't appear in this statement. Is that what you're saying?
Hold on. Let me finish his answer before.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, that is what she told me when I went to her office. And I believe that she said she received, if I recall correctly, she received a call from the same number she didn't answer.
You're telling us today that when you went to her office, you spoke with her and she told you she received multiple calls from 678-379-8045, some of which she did not answer.
Well, after a while, she said she stopped answering the calls.
Okay, but you're sure that she told you, she received multiple calls from the 678-379-8045. Is that right?
If I recall our conversation, that's what she told me.
Did you write that down anywhere?
No, like I said, it must have been oversight, but I recall her saying that, just like the second call she said with the mail was the same voice. So.
Okay, and if that was true, that would have been reflected on the 678-379-8045 phone log that you pulled from that day, right?
There's a possibility. There's I need to see the document again. I don't recall.
Okay, you want to see the phone log again?
Yes.
Sure, we'll pull that up.
Sam, you know what page it is?
Sorry. Yeah, I do. Hold on.
Oh, here it is. I got it.
Okay.
Page 6.
I'm causing you to do a lot of back and forth here. We'll blow this up. And, this is, again, the Google Voice response you received from your subpoena. As you were saying, Cloudis told you in her office that she received multiple calls from, the number at the top here, the 678 number that was a number belonging to Corin Michael Rendazzo. So if her statement to you is true, there would be multiple calls from that number to her phone, right?
Yes, and looking at the document first sight of it, his number appearing on it several times to the number that was, and it says phone number. I believe at that time that was the call she was referring to, the multiple calls.
So you're saying the SMS in and out, the missed and input text message, you mistook that for a phone call to her line?
Yes.
When did you realize that?
Yes, when I first spoke to the attorney.
Oh, you realized it when you first spoke to your attorney?
Yes.
Can we take a quick 5-minute break? Sorry. And then we'll come back.
Yeah, about how much longer do you have? Yeah.
Not terribly much longer. I'd say no more than an hour, I don't think. maybe less.
Yeah, we want to try and get them out, certainly before 3:30, but if we
Yeah.
can do 3, that's better.
We can do that. We can do that.
All right. Good deal.
Thanks, y'all.
Okay, could you pull up, Zach, the Henry County Police Department response and turn to page 34? Or maybe I could find it in the solicitor's file. Hold on. Okay, thank you. So, Sergeant, at the top, do you recognize this document?
Yes.
This was another supplement to your investigative file that you created,
Yes.
and it's dated April 29th, 2019.
Yes.
I just wanted to see what you meant when you said that the documents from the telephone provider were not entered into the system.
A lot of documents that we send to records somehow get lost. And the phone records that I receive, I always keep a file with everything that I received, just in case some things like that happen. And when they told me that they didn't have them, I sent them, because then I just put that in a note that they had received them and that they was not provided before. It's like photos, anything like that, supplement reports that they don't have or never gotten because they're not uploaded. That is done by a totally different person. And if they don't do it, they won't have it. DA's files, a lot of times when you go to court and you take a file to court with you, the prosecutor, she'll be talking or he'll be talking about something, and you'll say, well, that's in my report, and then you'll hand it to them because they never got it. I don't know why, but that's what happens. A lot of.
So when you say it wasn't in the system, do you mean the phone records that you subpoenaed from Google Voice didn't make it to the DA's file?
Correct.
Okay. So you corrected that?
Oh, yes, yes. Anytime something's not in the file,
okay.
we get it to whoever needs to get it. And then we provide another supplemental saying that they got it.
Got it. And with the subpoenas that you sent out to Google, you also sent one out to bandwidth.com, right?
I believe so. And I think that one of the other, well, probably was Bandwidth, saying that they no longer had that particular number. Google or AT&T now has it. So you have to send out another one.
Okay, so no records relevant to this case came back from the bandwidth.com subpoena, right?
Right. If they don't have the number, they'll let you know that they don't have that particular number. It was given over to AT&T.
Okay.
You know.
And that's what happened in this case with the bandwidth one.
I believe so, yes.
Okay. Zach, can you pull up the Georgia State Representative file? It's just an individual PDF. These documents were, do you recognize these documents as being part of the investigative file?
Yes.
Tell me why they were included.
Those numbers were attached to the particular sheet I had gotten back from the phone company. And I researched the numbers, and one number came back to this gentleman right here.
What numbers did you research? Were you looking at the phone record evidence from the subpoena to Google Voice?
Yes.
Okay, so the numbers that, the other numbers that plaintiff called during the day or maybe the day before, a day after, March 30th, you looked those numbers up and they came back to these Georgia House of Representatives?
Yes.
Okay. Did you make anything of that?
Nothing came out of that. And I didn't put it in my report, but I know I did call to see if particularly the State House, which is all the phone companies, all the phones are controlled by, I think, GBI. They said no calls are recorded.
But no further evidence that you thought was relevant to your investigation in this case was taken from these calls to the Georgia House of Representatives?
Correct.
And did you call these numbers before the warrant was taken out or after?
I believe I had to call before because I had got the phone records and I wanted to find out who the numbers belonged to.
Okay, so that was kind of part of the process of investigating the numbers on that.
Just to see, yes, sorry, just to see who was on the other end.
Okay. Zach, can you pull up the docs produced, the new docs produced? I'm not seeing it in my. Yeah, thank you. Do you see this news article on the top first page of this?
Yes.
Why was this included?
That was something that was in the paper. I don't know if somebody handed that to me or I just read the article and just put it in the file just to have it in.
Were the facts in this news article accurate?
To be honest with you, I didn't read them.
Oh, you didn't read this article?
No.
Okay. Who wrote this side note here at the bottom of the articles?
That's my handwriting.
Okay, so you wrote this side note, but you didn't read this article that you included?
Correct.
What was this side note saying? Do you know?
I spoke to, I think her name was Pam, and she told me that the GBI runs their phone system and they know the lines are not recorded, because that was my question to myself to ask her on the lines recorded, and she told me that they were not. Same thing with the House of Representatives.
Got it. Can you just go to page 2 of this document then? Looking at this table of contents, this list, are you aware of any other evidence that exists on this case that you or anyone else collected other than what's included in this list?
Just what I collected from I don't see that House Representative gentleman there, the news articles. Everything else should be there.
There was no 911 call made by Cloudis to the police, right?
That would be in a CAD system. That wouldn't be part of this report. That would be a separate printout in itself.
Well, was there a 911 call?
Yes, she would have to call 911 to get the officer dispatched to her office.
Zach, can you pull up the solicitor's file? Sorry. Okay, page 52. At the top of this, or do you recognize this document?
That would come from the 911 center. That's called a CAD report.
Okay, when at the very top left corner where it says no 911 call, only CAD, what does that mean?
You would have to ask the 911 dispatchers that. I don't know.
Okay, is it possible that, an officer was dispatched based on some other reason than a 911 call?
I would not know.
But she could have called like a non-emergency police line, right?
That would be, well, that would show up in the, no, exactly. If she called the non-emergency, that wouldn't hit the CAD system.
That would not?
No, I don't believe so, it would.
So the CAD system's only activated by a 911 call?
I really don't know, and I think they're all tied in together. If you call 911, as far as non-emergency, emergency, there is a record kept.
Okay, but you'd agree that this document says no 911 call, right?
And we're looking at the top.
Mm-hmm. The top left corner, it looks handwritten.
That I don't know who wrote that, but if it came off of CAD, it's in the system. It was a system call.
Okay, but you don't actually know whether Susan Cloud has called 911, right?
No.
And it appears to be, at least from this document, that she may not have.
Well, she would have to, because there's a CAD number. It was in it into the system.
But it also says no 911 call, right?
I have no idea why that's up there.
Okay. And then can you turn to page 44? I appear to be in the wrong file. Oh, the new docs, page 44. Sorry. Okay, so out of the other numbers that Corey Rendazzo had called during this time frame, you also researched and did accurate searches for the other numbers other than the Georgia representative numbers, right?
Yes.
Okay, and you got different places such as the Metro Trim Glass Company, the city of Stockbridge, is that right?
One of those numbers, yes, if that's one of the numbers listed. I believe so.
Someone named Carlos Monasterio, and then an IA Clark.
Yes, if that's the numbers listed.
Zach, can you pull up the Ireland email? It's a separate PDF. Okay. Do you recognize this email?
First time seeing it.
Okay, so did you ever talk to Ireland about his conversation with Susan Cloudis?
No, I did not.
But you don't know him to be a liar or anything, right?
Correct.
And you don't know him to minimize the facts of a crime.
Correct.
And it says here in this email that when he talked to Susan Cloudis, and you can take a minute to read it since this is your first time seeing it, but I'll represent to you that it says here that she was not very concerned about the calls she received. Do you see that?
Yes.
Okay. Did you make? Do you agree that that's a little bit different than her statement to the 11 Alive video that we saw, where she said she was in fear of her life, right?
That's different from what she said. Yes.
Okay. And then just generally with the warrant application that we've already looked at, the narrative section that you listed at the bottom of the warrant application, that was the full extent of what you described to the judge, right?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah. Zach, can you turn to page 13 of the solicitor's file? And I think we're getting close to being done. At the bottom of this document that you said you created, right? Or did you? I just want. Did you say you created this document?
No, I did not.
Oh, okay. And you didn't. You don't know who created this document?
No, I didn't.
Okay. At the bottom of this document, it says, based on physical and testimonial evidence, a warrant for harassing phone calls was subsequently issued for defendant's arrest. Are you familiar with what physical and testimonial evidence this was referring to?
No.
Couple questions about the testimony that you heard today. Before today, where you were present for Mr. Randazzo's deposition, were you aware of any mental health issues that he had?
No.
Before today, had you ever encountered Mr. Randazzo in the past or heard of him? Before your involvement, I'm sorry, in the case?
No.
And before you took out the warrant, you said that you had researched his criminal history, right?
Correct. Prior to meeting him.
And that provided you additional support for probable cause, is that right?
Yes.
But you weren't really sure whether those charges listed in his criminal history were convictions or if they were just charges, right?
Correct. And I don't go basically on it. I go basically on the charges.
Okay, you don't really check whether there's convictions or not. Just look at the charges.
If there was something that I needed to know about, but like I said, I do that based on going to see an individual. If there's any type of criminal history and there's a charge in there that would cause me to be concerned, then yes, I would take someone with me.
Okay, so a charge can give you concern even if it's not a conviction, right?
Correct.
And that's what happened here.
Basically, yes.
And just to be clear, you had included as part of your investigative file, I think, some TLO searches you did for Cloudis's number, maybe her husband's number too.
I didn't hear what you said. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was asking about a TLO search. Can you just explain for the record what a TLO search is?
I didn't check his numbers, Mr. Cloudis.
Just generally though, can you explain what a TLO search is?
I can't at this time, though.
Okay, is that
Sam, I think they might be using the accurate instead. So that might be a more intelligible way.
okay? Sorry. Did you use Accurate to run searches on James Cloudis and Susan Cloudis as you were investigating this case to see, what phone numbers and addresses were associated with their names?
Yeah.
No.
You did not?
No.
Did you have the ability to do that?
To run an accurate check on both Susan and James Cloudis?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Were you aware that Susan Cloudis had 5 different phone lines?
No, I was not aware of that.
Oh, and I'm getting some really loud yard work. Are you guys hearing that as well? Okay, I'll try to finish up.
It's not too bad, Sam.
Okay. Did the police department generally have the ability to check into a blocked call on a phone log if that was the case?
That all depends on the phone provider. Certain phone providers would provide that information and some will not.
Okay, so it's possible just based on the provider.
Correct.
Do you know if it was possible based on Susan Cloudis's provider to check into whether any blocked calls to her numbers, who those numbers were actually associated with?
No, I do not.
Okay. Other than this lawsuit, have you ever had a complaint made against you by someone who was complaining about your investigation into a harassing phone call charge?
No, not that I recall.
Okay, one second. Okay, if we could just take a one, all right. Yeah, I think that is all of the questions that I have for you today. I don't know if you or your lawyer want to make a statement about reserving your right to read a written transcription of the deposition.
We'll reserve.
Okay, so reserving, we can conclude the deposition. Thank you so much, Sergeant.
Thank you.
Thanks for talking with us today. We appreciate it. And hope you have a good rest of the day.
Ms. Font, do you want this transcript? Do you want this deposition transcribed?
Zach, what do you think?
Yeah, we do.
Okay, right. Mr. Morris, you want to